Welcome to Isn't It Obvious, where things are obvious. That's going to be the intro.
That's going to be the intro forever now.
Right. 26th February 2021.
20.
Oh yeah, we do that. It is the
6th of
26th
February.
of February in the year 1913.
It's 2021, Micah. You're crazy.
So war will start.
Topic A?
No, I totally did.
Topic A.
Isn't it obvious that so many movie remakes, reboots, sequels, adaptations should just be whatever story they are, slap new names on it, and make it a new IP?
I would agree. I'm quite tired of the constant remakes and sequels. I would like a new story. I don't care if it's not really a new story because my philosophy is that all stories are one story, but I would like, a new fandom to enjoy, like just a new story with new names and a new world. Is that so much to ask?
The main crux for me is Alien Covenant. And whatever that reboot, I think Covenant was the sequel, but the first one, whatever that one was.
I think you guys are more well watched than I am. I don't watch a whole lot of movies. I've been watching a lot of Asian dramas.
TV works the same.
What do you mean TV works the same?
TV works the same.
I don't have a TV.
TV shows
Yeah.
still work the same. You have, how many Law and Orders are there?
I don't watch Law and Order.
Those don't need to be connected things. In fact, it'd be interesting if you had a whole bunch of Dick Wolf TV shows that were different timelines in the same world.
See, this is
and
what
you
I
had recurring characters.
No, I don't like sitcoms, and I don't like
Nothing
episodic.
Dick Wolf does is a sitcom.
I don't like episodic standalones that much either. I like a story.
You don't like one-shots?
I like a long story in my shows. I like a story that builds up.
So every episode of One Piece definitely ties into the overarching story of the all of One Piece?
They are constantly growing, and you cannot watch an episode of One Piece that's like on episode 100 and whatever, and not you would not understand you can't just jump in. You wouldn't know what was going on.
So, Micah, about this idea that sequels shouldn't exist or adaptations or reimagining.
It's the soft reboots kind of thing. Blade Runner 2049 did not need to be a movie. You could have it with a different title with the same story.
Also,
and not have it affiliated with Blade Runner and be great.
I'm also really sick of the constant Superman and Spider-Man remakes. It's one every fucking couple of years. It's can we just
Well, I think the fact that the MCU is wrapped up, comic book movies are going to dry up. Now it's video game movies. So prepare for a decade of 5 Uncharted films released every other year.
I'm preparing for a decade of what I hope. This is my dearest hope, is that the movie and whatever episode show industry will take from popular books that were written and start making those into fucking adaptations to film.
There's no nostalgia for it.
I'm so sick of nostalgia. Can we move on from the nostalgia? I've had
what's
my
profitable.
fill.
Why is Michael Bay keep making movies? They make money because it's just it's the toys you played with. This was in your head at some point, and now it's a movie.
Pandemic aside, I haven't gone to a movie in 3 years, it feels like. There's nothing new, and there's nothing I care to see.
Do you just not enjoy the movie experience?
If I'm gonna go enjoy the movie experience, I also want to enjoy the movie. If I'm gonna sit in a theater for 90 minutes to 2 hours, I'd like to enjoy what I'm watching. So if the trailer doesn't look good, I'm not gonna go see it. I'll just wait until I can access it in a non-theater way at reduced cost. So,
but what's worse? A movie that preview looked bad but was good and you didn't watch it in the theaters, or a preview that looked good but was bad and you did watch it in the theaters?
The second would be worse, I think.
The second would be worse, yeah.
But FOMO is worse than being hoodwinked?
What?
Yeah, fear of missing out is definitely worse than being hoodwinked.
So then having theater experience.
It's not fear of missing out in this case for me. I saw a trailer. Or you're saying, what was worse?
Yeah, what's worse? A trailer that was bad for a good movie that you didn't watch in the theater, or a trailer for a bad movie that looked good that you did see in a theater?
The hoodwinked one, the last one.
So that is a worse experience than missing out on a movie that should be in a theater.
Yep.
That you just saw on your laptop or TV.
Personally, I'd rather be in the comfort of my own home in my gross pajamas and enjoy the movie on my couch. It's way more comfortable. I can make my own damn popcorn.
But you have all of your home distractions. You're not
No, I
solely
don't.
in the movie.
What
your
home
cats are there. Your phone is there.
Okay, well,
Your food
while my
is
cats
there.
can be
Your drinks are
distracting,
there.
when I'm watching something or reading something, my cats are usually pretty like chill. They'll just sit in my lap and that's it, and they'll sleep. Usually. Yeah. Yes.
Is there a different expectation when you're in a theater experience?
No, because there's always some asshole who's talking or some asshole who brought their kids to a rated, I don't know, R film, and you're just like, could you not bring your fucking children to this serious and gory film, please?
Now you see, Timmy, what came out of his stomach is his lower intestine, and you can tell because it's actually smaller.
And like you have all these other fucking mouth breathers crowding around you, eating their gross popcorn, with they're just gnawing on it, like they have no concept of personal boundaries or shutting the fuck up.
I'm not gnawing on my popcorn. That's the M&Ms I put in there to melt.
Or they like do this like slurpy thing with their giant sized. I'm gonna murder you, Micah. It's gonna happen one of these days.
Okay.
One of these days, Micah.
Sorry,
pow,
I wanted to give
straight
you
to the
the
moon.
theater experience here, Sarah.
This is why it's worse for me to go to a theater after having thought, oh, this could be a good movie. This trailer looked real good. I'm gonna go to the theater and get the theater
Nothing
experience.
can be wrong with a Ghost in the Shell remake with Scarlett Johansson as the lead.
Okay, Jurassic Park movies, just all of them after the first
The
one.
first one's amazing.
The first one's good. Yeah.
Well, actually,
after
2
that.
wouldn't have been bad in the theater. That would have been quite a spectacle.
I would say that's different because you got these big, ginormous monsters on a
That
big,
doesn't
ginormous
change who's
screen.
in the theater.
True, but you've
So if
got
you still had a mouth breather behind you, that'd be a worse experience than
no,
watching
because
Jurassic Park 2 at home.
but Jurassic Park's a good movie, so it wouldn't have been that bad because it would have been worth
So
it.
now you're putting in more stipulations, like
Yes,
Well,
it
of
would have been
course,
worth it because the movie is good enough to ignore the bullshit. Yes, Phil. Oh my God.
What if you had a Gihai that was like, this is different from the book because of this?
I was that guy for Harry Potter. Look,
I was too. I regret it. I'm so sorry.
That scene wasn't in that book. You know, they actually, the director thought it was very interesting.
And my
to
mother
have
with
the
Lord of the
field
Rings.
on
I read this
fire,
Gizmodo
and-
article about how the director really wanted to incorporate it, but the producers talked down to him, so he had to compromise. But I feel what he did still kept up the artistic integrity of what he wanted from the source material.
What?
Did you know that actress was actually casted differently because they
I'm
didn't
sorry,
know
Phil.
from
I hate to interrupt, but at this point, we just call them all actors as it is a job, and we don't genderize it. So if you can just keep up with that, if you're really
How about we
great,
call
so,
them? I'm sorry, you're behind the times, Micah. It's act people.
Sarah wins. You were really close there, but Sarah just went in and took the trophy. Sorry about that. Better luck
This
next
year,
time.
for best act person in a film portrayed by a male identifying person is...
Oh, wow, that's going to be tricky.
No, I think that's
It's
how
not
you
really.
present it.
It's not that tricky. You just go
Like
with it.
actor presenting as a male, and I think that'd be fine.
No,
We should just change our language.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it'd be great. Like Hilary Swank wins for best male performing actor would be amazing. I mean, that's what she won her Academy Award for, was Boys Don't Cry, where she was playing as a
That's
transgendered
true, yeah.
male.
Then she should have played as a male. I
She
agree.
should have been up for best actor as opposed to best
Yeah, she
actress,
should.
which she was.
Mhm.
What
So
about?
I'd support that.
Does she identify as a male in real life, though?
No, but it's all about the acting position, much like Jared
No,
Leto.
It's
Yeah.
it's about the person, not the actor or the
No,
actress.
but I say this will get around that type of role type thing, where Jared Leto won for Best Supporting Actor playing a transvestite prostitute in Dallas Buyers Club. Or trans, I guess I actually haven't seen the
There's,
film, but I don't know if there's transition involved or if it was just
a clothing choice.
transvestite. But,
Yeah, don't know.
but
So
I think that type of identifying thing could be interesting,
Yeah.
where you don't have...
But the person
whoever
who's
the
winning
dad
the
was.
award is for a part they played. They aren't that part. They are whoever they are.
Well,
So
yes, but many gay and lesbian actors have kissed the gender that they are not romantically attracted to.
sure.
Yeah, but they don't have, like, best heterosexual actor.
Yeah, and you don't like you're
No,
you're just,
but it's who they're portraying and
No,
like,
but that's
what they're
not what-
portraying as.
No, they aren't. It's who
So,
they. No, they. Yes, they portrayed whatever, but
But
like
a trans woman acting as a woman would just be for best person presenting as a woman category.
But-
it doesn't matter. Like then you have actual acting credentials of all the things.
still maybe we're arguing the same thing and we're just talking. I don't because I guess I'm still as an actor. Say if I were to play a trans woman and I'm a male actor playing as a trans
let's
woman
deal with our
I
preferred
wouldn't-
pronouns and deal with the hypothesis that way.
Okay,
So,
if I'm a woman. I'm an actress, and I'm playing a trans character, right? Okay. I would win.
Phil, we got it.
I would.
It's act people, first of all.
Yeah, you set this yourself, Sarah, and you corrected yourself and apologized for making it gendered. Come on.
And also, by the way, I cannot follow it. And if I can't follow it,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure like 5 other people are not going to follow it either.
Well, we only
And
have
they're
4
gonna be
listeners, so
very
that's
confused.
great.
No, I mean, for the golden... Okay, the first thing is, if we have a movie theater problem, it shouldn't be the same issue as a remake, reboot, soft reboot problem. And I think that the problem is that movies make their most money on opening day or opening weekend. For some reason, this matters to them. So, like, our arguments about why we don't like going to the movie theater, I think are all very valid. Because to be honest, I don't like someone that is just, I don't know, talking on their phone or just being rude. And people don't really have manners anymore. Back in my day, people used to actually dress up and take showers before they go to the movie theater. Like, they
Phil.
don't do that anymore.
You were not that old.
Okay, second of all,
Showers? What showers?
Like, they might have put on button-up pants. That's the level of
Wait, people wear
sophistication Phil is
pants?
chiming back to. Because, Phil, I'm older than you.
I don't believe that. And also, you're lying. And third of all, that's not true. Okay? And they're all distinct points. But the issue here is that who is the film industry catering to? They're not catering to us, who we could care 2 shits about, like, reboots and remakes of terrible movies, franchises. They gotta be, like,
Lowest
bean
common
counters.
denominator. It's 2 hours of escapism.
Yeah.
In a dark room that is meant for that escapism. So you get to be engrossed in whatever they're presenting. So they make it as milquetoast as possible to get the most people to get eyes on it, so they have that big opening day weekend.
But your premise, though, the initial inquiry is, isn't it better or isn't it obvious that these remakes are just kind of really shitty? Like, it'd be better if they just went ahead and made their own original idea without having to tack it onto
they
something.
should take other people's ideas that are good, that are.
You can have there's a reason why there are 2 different Academy Awards, one for adapted screenplay and one for original screenplay. You can have visual adaptations.
Do you guys actually care about, like, the awards?
No. Well, I mean, yes,
I do.
in terms of how utterly pretentious and dumb they are.
I've never understood, like, I've never gotten behind the whole award ceremony thing. Like, I'm sure, I think there's value to it. I just personally don't care.
I think awards for entertainment and those type of things are utter bullshit, because that is all based on niche audiences things, and you can never have a definitive best actor in movies from this year, because there are so many movies that the one role that one big name actor was in somehow trumped the 5 other gigantic named actors, but yet some unknown dude gave a great performance in a movie that grossed $10 million or something.
I agree. I think that the award ceremonies themselves, of who's the winning team or actor or film or director, I do watch this with the editor, by the way. And I try to take mental notes on who's the runner-ups, because then, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, if I see those movies on discounts, I actually might give it a watch. I might not actually do that for the one that wins, because in my head, I have a theory that it's all about politicking at that level.
You don't really need to see The Revenant. You've seen Leonardo DiCaprio breathe heavy through his mouth. You're good.
But, like, as far as, like, the runner-ups, I'm like, oh, these movies actually could be worth my time. And there is a problem with just too many movies or films or things being made, that you're not going to be able to have the time to set aside to be like, okay, which one really does seem to be entertaining to watch for whatever reason. And Rotten Tomatoes is just a hit or miss now, because a lot of the movies that I like are just really shitty, like, score terribly on Rotten Tomatoes, and all the things that I think are just terrible are apparently masterpieces.
Moment of self-reflection. Swing and a miss.
No, we just all have different tastes, and it's okay to like things that other people don't like.
My
I'm
argument
not
to this
wrong.
is,
Everyone
do
else
you
is
think
wrong.
the Academy Awards has more or less weight in what you may or may not watch than Cannes Film Festival or Toronto Film Festival, or something where it's a broader...
None of these things have any influence on what I watch, because I don't pay attention to any of
I
them.
think Cons maybe, but, like, and maybe some indie films, but I just don't have access to them. I'm not going to spend the time to hunt for a film unless someone recommends it to me. Like, oh, you should watch this movie Pi or something. Other than that, it's a good place to be able to say, if I have time or when I have time, and I do see this movie, I made a mental note that this was considered to be decent. And let's see if that's true. All those movies you're talking about, they're never remakes, they're never reboots, unless it's like editing or some sound technology or some who won the best film score. Like, okay, maybe, but the Joker, is that a soft reboot? It's like, would you say...
So many Jokers.
Kinda.
There's so
in
many
terms
Jokers.
of the source material of the Joker and the fact that I think that had some rave reviews from like cons or something.
I don't know if it would have been good without the concept of the Joker. Could you?
So
have
if you
done
had that as like the killer clown, would it have had the same hit?
I would have considered to be very derivative, like Baby's first Taxi Driver.
But what if you still had it where Gotham was referenced, Thomas Wayne was referenced? You had all of the Batman references, but the title of the film had nothing to do with the Joker. It was named whatever his character name was. I haven't seen it, so whatever Joaquin Phoenix's character was prior to him becoming the Joker.
It could have just been called Joaquin Phoenix, and I probably would have said, yeah, that's a good title,
like,
and that's good
Joaquin
enough.
Phoenix in Joe.
Yeah.
And it is just the Joker movie, beat for beat, with all of the same Gotham references and Arkham references and Thomas Wayne.
They try to do this with Birds of Prey, this movie about, like, Harley Quinn.
No, but that Harley Quinn did have a small supergroup for a run that was Birds of Prey.
Okay, the problem is that, like, if you're just an average person, you look at this poster that said Birds of Prey, you're like, oh, is that like an Alfred Hitchcock reboot? Okay, whatever, I'm not going to
But that was also a sequel to Suicide Squad. That was like a soft reboot of Suicide Squad because Margot Robbie had such a pull.
Again, they didn't name it right, because... if you're gonna go full on,
well, it's reboot. Birds of Prey or the Miraculous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
That would have been better.
That is the title.
I remember they had to scrap the title and redo it because people like me were like, I don't want to watch a movie about birds.
No, that was the compromise. I think the first one was just the Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Oh, jeez.
And they added Birds of Prey to
that was a bad
tack
ad. That was 2 steps back there. I don't know if that movie Joker, and I agree with you, Sarah, there's too many Joker films. If that would have been better without the franchise name associated with it. And all the movies that I can think of from like the Golden Globes or the Emmys or whatever, if they're gonna be a reboot or remake, again, it's gonna be for some technical reason. Maybe
it's name drop reason.
Prop.
It's you tap the nostalgia. The reason why I like Alien Covenant is because Ridley Scott made Alien movies 30 years ago.
I gotta say, I don't mind it when some remakes are made when we have better abilities for special effects, especially
like
for
Planet of the Apes,
especially for sci-fi films and fantasy films.
Like Planet of the Apes.
Yep. You can make it better when you don't need to wear terrible costumes and you can just CGI it and it looks amazing. That, I guess...
Does it, though?
Well, we're improving.
Was Age of Ultron that much fun when 90% of the fighting was all CGI?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the only time you saw the actors was when they were running from fight scene to fight scene?
But
that was the only time it was slow enough for them to look at your face?
I'm thinking more like, and these aren't really like remakes, these are just continuations of the story, but like the Star Wars films and like some of that high budget CGI, like really good, well done CGI. It's like you can kind of tell it's CGI, but there was some CGI that was done in that I like had to take a double take because I'm like, is that a person or is that
prop?
Is that a computer generated person?
Jar Jar Binks did look very lifelike.
I was thinking more, who's the captain on the Death Star?
Grand Moff Tarkin?
Was that him? No.
Tarkin? You're talking about in Rogue One or
maybe it was some like old dude who was like balding. That was just really well done. The CGI was really well done, I thought.
It has to be Rogue One.
It must have been.
I think
Grand Moff Tarkin?
Because he was...
when he turned around and said, like, all of your work is mine.
I couldn't remember what he said at the time.
And
this was a while ago,
It was, like,
man.
so in the Uncanny Valley.
It wasn't uncanny. I thought it was really well done. But maybe I'm thinking of a different person.
I feel like CGI is not... It's like the bad week fallacy. Because anytime I see, CGI is bad, it's because I notice it as CGI. If I can't tell, then I just assume it's a real prop or a real actor. So then in my brain, I always associate CGI as expensive but uncanny valley. Like you can tell it's fake and it just distracts you from the world this film is set in. And that's a big no-no for escapism. Now you're thinking about the technical background of this machinery rather than just the play.
Compare the Tyrannosaurus chase scene from Jurassic Park in 1994 to any Marvel movie and tell me which movie had better CG.
I think the Marvel movie had better CG.
I couldn't tell you, but I think the Marvel movie probably because the budget was so damn high and they did a really fucking good job. But I couldn't tell you because I haven't seen the...
But
Age
did
of
anything
Ultron or-
look as real or as good as when that T-Rex was chasing after that Jeep? That was all CG. Faster, faster, you must go faster, you must go faster.
I don't think I watched that, so couldn't tell you.
I also think that they used CG as clever as they could. It's like those
Right.
old...
It was a scalpel back then. Now it's a blunt
And I was
instrument.
gonna
And I
say-
think that's a detriment.
Well,
Yes, I do
I was
agree
also
with
going to
that.
say it's really hard to CG people because we are trained to recognize people. We look at a person and we can identify them as a live human person, but like animals and dinosaurs, like that's a lot harder to identify as CGI, I think. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like the filters on Snapchat
Instagram.
filters on Instagram or on Reddit or whatever, like on TikTok or whatever. But there'll be like cat videos of cats. They've been manipulated. Like they've been CGI'd to do like certain expressions. I'm sorry, cats just don't naturally make those faces.
Goofy faces.
Wait, you're telling me a cat can't actually flick me off with its middle finger? Middle
It
paw,
can.
nail?
But they look really like real. They look very, you wouldn't be able to necessarily tell at first glance. Like you'd have to like look at it and study it because sorry, we don't do the uncanny valley as well with other animals as opposed to humans.
I agree, but there are times where they would do a CGI film of The Lion King, which I think that the original 1990s Lion King was fine as it is. It's cartoonish and it's charming and it's nostalgic.
No, I need to see a real lion Mufasa
There's a
being trampled by a stampede of wildebeest caused by a real-looking but still cartoonishly evil Scar.
You just have to pay for that out of your pocket.
Well, that's
and
the
just
thing
get
is,
a pay-
it's,
just
but
get a
that's
commission.
different. You have a whole movie that's been made. Yes, the budget's high, but the cat clips I'm talking about are like 10 seconds. Like they're very quick. So it doesn't really take a high budget.
Sure, which goes back to my point that CGI now is a blunt instrument to cover up a lot of bad filmmaking.
I would agree. Yes,
Yeah.
it has been used as a blunt instrument to cover up, or well, to get out of paying for higher budget animation by hand or by actors who could just fucking do it.
Well, or skilled set building.
Or that, yeah.
The fact that the prequels, to go back to Star Wars, most of their scenes are on an all green screen because it's cheaper to do that. And that is a detriment to the art of that product. Because nobody asked for the prequels. Nobody cared about the prequels. But yet we got the prequels, and they were garbage.
Like, first of all, I do like the prequels just for the prequel memes, and they're just fantastic. And I would just drop them all the time at work. And
Yeah,
there's
but here's
always
the thing.
one
If
guy
there
that
wasn't
laughs.
Star Wars prequel memes, there would be other memes from shitty films. But
Yeah, but
if
not
not
that
everything
bad.
was a reboot, a prequel, a sequel, or affiliated with pre-existing properties, we would have a greater base of memes.
No,
Imagine if it wasn't Anakin Skywalker. It was Anakin Landstrider.
All right, I'm just gonna have to prove you wrong because I lived at a time where prequel memes were just not a thing, and people would just talk about.
So, memes are bad, and they should
No,
not be a thing.
I love
They should not be a
memes.
point
You
of...
can take my memes from my cold, dead corpse.
I love memes.
It's
and
great because ones and zeros don't actually hold in your grip.
they hold
As
fine.
you are a physical person and ones and zeros exist digitally.
You don't have to say. Sorry, back to the CGI thing. Aren't you guys sick of just all of the animated movies that are all CGI now? Like, can we go back to?
Like all of the MCU?
Can we just go back to like cool hand drawn shit?
Yeah, we can, but we can't work those artists like slaves anymore because they have a union.
Yeah, now it's the CGI artists that are.
No, it's CGI houses that are not based in America.
Yeah.
I think Avengers Endgame used 13 different CGI houses to do different aspects of their CGI. And it was like the explosions weren't working with the mocap acting, and it's a clusterfuck of just all the money Disney has that they can throw into whatever they want. And it won't matter because it'll make money.
I think also to the point for at least animation too, it's a lot easier to get merchandising off of CG models than
That's
it is
true.
from like translating a 2D to a 3D. It just doesn't do well. But you could just just crank out 3D models and then just make tons of different types of merchandising toys for the kids, and that's where they can get their money. And I just want to make a little side mention here that the whole My Little Ponies, like that whole generation has ended now with the whole Twilight Sparkle and thing like that. And they're going to reboot.
Wait, bronies are no more? I was just getting into it.
No, well, I'm sorry.
No, they still exist. Just the people who are making the shows.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the content is all dead, so I can't contribute to the projection of where the story may go.
What do you got against bronies, Micah? I just don't understand. You're like, are you threatened by it? Is that why you keep?
Do you know what ponies are?
Yeah, I do.
And they are sacrilege against the God Almighty and all that He created. Sorry, all that they created.
The pony gods?
I love ponies.
Okay, the second thing is...
Anyway.
I just wanted to drop this news in because I thought it was funny. So they're rebooting it. I was like, oh, geez, fine, whatever. But they're rebooting it to all CGI in the same universe as Celestia. So, like, the same universe of the previous generation. So,
but it's CGI.
But it's CGI. And it doesn't follow the previous characters. It's just a really kind of cash grab.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is just the worst. Like,
not the same.
It would be better if it just branched out and did their own thing. Anyway.
Well, it's like you compare the 1990s Batman adventure, whatever the Batman TV show was, in its gothic art style and how its frame rate was super low, but it was all hand animated. And you compare that to the new Batman and like DC computer made. Still meant to look like cartoon, but not, because it also goes through that uncanny valley for us old folks who know what actual animation looks like on film and not having it all be digitized.
I remember the one time I was really disappointed with the CG into animation was Futurama, where they started to add in the spaceship as 3D model, right, because it saved them money. It wasn't really that big of a deal because it's Futurama, right? Like, you're not there for its artistic value.
Fair.
But I just thought it was like, okay, the trend is going this way, and soon all these animations are going to be this animation houses. They're all going to look samey. Their style is all going to look so similar to each other, just like AAA games or any type of like rehashed movie these days. They're all just, I know all stories are the same story, but does it all have to look so
the same,
similar?
Right? Can we dial? I think I was saying this earlier before the show. Like, can we dial it? Can we dial the genre?
Moment. We have the first organic before the show moment.
All right, hooray! Is this a quick drink? Anyway,
sure, that can totally be cut, but I think that is the first time it's organically happened. It was like before the show we were talking, and
yeah, no, that's a big podcast milestone.
Before the show we were talking. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Can we just dial the genre over like a notch? Like, can we take sci-fi, make it fantasy, or vice versa, or like switch it up just a little so it doesn't have to look the same and be exactly the same. It's basically the same, but it's still different enough to where it feels novel. Speaking of novels, sorry, I've been waiting for a while to ask this question. What novel would you like to see adapted into film or
I have a slight
animation?
Aside. I want to answer this question, but I have a quick question for Phil. What about South Park when they went all CG?
Did they keep the integrity of their animation style, though?
Well, it started as actual cardboard still frame cutouts, and then it moved towards animation, keeping that cutout aesthetic. Then moved to digital, which is why I don't even think they write a script for their seasons now, and it's just reactionary based on the world, because they can put out an episode in a week.
Yeah, I'm a crotchety old man, so I don't like it.
You don't like the new fast-paced?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of category as Futurama for me. Like, I'm not there for its, like, cutting-edge artistic expressions. But that being said, like, it starts to devolve into the sameness. And this is my concern about novels, too. In modern time, like moratorium aside, you can see that there's a cash grab for certain types of genres today, like on Netflix and on Amazon Prime and HBO Go and on Stars. Like there's like this gold rush for, let's take novels and make them into movies, similar to like a Harry Potter vein.
Not novels, series, and we need to milk them for everything we can. Much like
not standalone novels. It has to be at least a trilogy.
Yeah. And if you can get 4, you're in the money. Imagine if Harry Potter wasn't adapted and it started with like The Hunger Games or something. Harry Potter right now would be a television show, because that's 10 years that you can milk that for. Like 10 solid years of solid advertising.
My response to this is that, like, if I wanted a novel that I really really enjoyed and I wanted to be made into a film or a series, I wouldn't want it to be made right now. Because
Give it some time.
you know what's gonna happen, and they're gonna run it through the machine and turn it out for pieces, and then just put it in the same cookie cutter format, and off it goes. And like the South Park references, it's not like it's gonna be a reaction, but it's gonna be efficient. South Park did that because they didn't really care about their artistic expression, but they really needed the ability to crank episodes out quickly. So I imagine that the ability to make this hot dog.
Isn't South Park's strength on their reactions to pop culture?
Yeah,
which is kind of what its basis was. So like the 1 week turnaround means they can be topical, but still presented in the animated form that gives them a lot of freedom to investigate their topics.
That may be the case, but my cynical heart says that they did this for efficiency purposes, and that's just a good way to like brand it. Like, oh, we just need to be faster. It's like, why do you need to be faster? Well, because we want to be able to react quickly. It's like, okay, so you don't really care about quality then, huh? Right? Because of the iron triangle.
Isn't that quick reaction part of their artistic integrity? Because we can now take a topic.
They've also been doing this for a long time. So like their skill level is at a point where they could probably do this quickly without sacrificing quality as much as they might have in their earlier days.
I will say, as a point to fill, they do sacrifice a lot of quality because it is a lot of we will make jokes to the lowest common denominator. We'll talk about, shit, farts, and pee for the sake of a joke. We will mock the presidential election by saying it's between a giant douche and a shit sandwich to make fun of how dumb the two-party system is in America.
I think they're also coasting a lot, too. They're so skillful at it, it's very easy for them to just kind of churn it out of episode. And
so you're saying a giant douche and a shit sandwich isn't the peak of satire?
I mean, I think that was very harmful for the country, but that's aside the point. I think that might be like...
Oh, we already harmed ourselves. They were just pointing it out to us in a way that...
and this is also me not watching any of their Trump criticism.
Right.
I haven't watched a South Park episode since like 2013.
Yeah, same here, right? So like, I really shouldn't be making a lot of judgment of South Park if I haven't seen anything past Make Love Not Warcraft. And at that point, I was like, that's pretty good. The end of the series for me. In my brain, it's like, well, they're just really good at just being efficient. There's nothing wrong with this, but it seems that's the trend for everything. So if I want like my beloved novel to become like a series, they're just gonna butcher Dune again and again and okay, I haven't actually read it.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to the new Dune.
Twice, 3 times.
Dune is a dumb story, but I'm looking forward to it.
How many times have they done? No, Dune was actually an okay-ish story.
Dune was done by Lynch, one of the best enigmatic directors we have in Hollywood.
I'm not saying they were awful, like adaptations. Like they were okay.
Oh no, the made-for-TV one was real bad. The Dune for sci-fi was so bad.
But can we take something new? Can we just stop redoing the same thing over and over again?
And that is the crux. So clearly, it is obvious.
Yeah,
I really just want to make a Joe and Skippy show. Like that's all I really want for Craig Allison's Columbus Day. Like it's basically Star Trek, but way more hilarious.
You know what I want?
More military.
Name of the Wind.
I don't know if
just for the sake of making Rothfuss actually fucking write it, or leave it up to other people to finish the story for him.
I was going to say, did that work so well for...
Yes. I mean, granted, the last season of Game of Thrones was real bad, but that was, I believe, the ending that Martin wanted.
I've already given up on seeing that book in my lifetime. I don't...
Exactly. That's why I want someone else to write it, because at least it'll be finished. I care not to read any more J.R.R. Martin in my life.
I just want one like a fan to just
no,
decide
it cannot be a fan.
I know, but I would be satisfied if an okay fanfic was written.
Me too.
And I would just leave it at that. I'd be like, okay, that's the end of my story, and that's what I'm gonna go with, because if our author can't, get it out to us in a reasonable time frame, my interest is gonna wane, and I'm just gonna not read it when it comes out, because I'll be like, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
I think Kvothe died right when he went to the Fae in the second book, and everything else is just a fever dream.
I don't think that's how that works. When you're dead, you don't dream.
No, this is all his death of going to the Fae, and this is everything that's in his mind. He beats the Fae.
I hate your story. I hate your...
Well, it ends it in 2 books.
I don't like it. No. I'll just wait until someone's got a fanfic that finishes it off.
Well, listeners, I request upon you to make a fanfic of Door of Stone to appease Sera.
Doors of Stone.
Sure, whatever. I don't care.
I'm almost to that point where I don't care. I
Then
just
write
don't
it.
care
We'll
anymore.
perform it only if our listeners want us to.
Perform it. Oh no, we're not reading this.
I
Are we
can
gonna
read
make
it.
funny voices?
Yes.
That's exactly how he talks too. It's just in my brain. And,
I mean, it'd
Okay,
take
but-
me a lot
but
of
I
time in my
didn't-
life to get over my lisp, but
Okay, so you've got the Name of the Wind. I picked.
no,
Joe
I actually
Skippy.
don't. I want Name of the Wind for the sake of thumbing my
Finish it.
nose at the
but,
author.
But okay, then you still haven't answered my question. Then what book or story would you like? To
Calvin
see
and Hobbes.
oh,
made
that's a
into
good one.
into
Calvin
a show?
and Hobbes as a sitcom.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate sitcoms, but okay, fair enough.
You can't have it where like Hobbes dies at the end of every episode.
Well, it basically is a sitcom.
Yeah,
So that's fair.
So you just have it where like every episode is a week in Calvin's life.
I wouldn't watch it, but
That'd be great.
I don't like
7
sitcoms.
segments of like 3 minutes a pop, just short jokes, a lot like the comic strip. Oh fuck, it
I'm
does
sure-
write itself.
Yeah, I was
Damn it,
gonna
I need
say
to
it-
talk to people in Hollywood.
Say that, Phil.
I'm gonna recycle a joke, and I'm gonna say Introduction to C++, and I want to see a movie. I want to see a series. I want to see if they can make this happen. And
Only if it was
I'll watch
directed by Michael Bay.
Oh,
Michael
See,
Bay
this is like
does
the monkey
C++
paw, like-
class 1001.
Sometimes though, you just gotta have it made for the sake of being made, and then you can be like, okay, I got what I wanted. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's there.
when I was a kid, I really wanted them to make Ender's Game. I thought
And
that
then
would
they
be like, oh
And
yeah,
it
this is
wasn't
gonna
that bad.
be... No, it just...
It wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad.
I was more interested in like the later books too, and
It should have been a TV show. It would have been better.
right, but then they just made a movie with Harrison Ford and some kid, and it was like, oh, I mean, it was okay, I guess. That was it.
Also, the Ben Kingsley playing that Maori warrior was a little...
Yeah,
Put The Rock in that role. Perfect. On point.
Yeah.
Represents
There's
well.
so many.
And
yeah,
granted,
there's so
Ben
many-
Kingsley won an Academy Award for playing Mahatma Gandhi, but the 80s were a weird time.
80s were a weird time, and that being
Gosh, now I
said,
feel like I need to go read a book or something.
what should we do? I'm on page 100.
I've read it. I read it like a long time ago, so I don't remember like half of what.
Mind Killer.
I don't remember a lot of what happened. I remember just a lot of spice and Moadib and weird religious cult stuff. So
He sheds his water willingly.
I like
Yeah.
it so far,
It's-
being 100 pages in.
it's all right. It's pretty okay. It's definitely older, but it's solid. Like it's a solid story. Still wish you. Well, someday I'll get you guys to read Foreigner. Well, Micah, you've read Foreigner, but only up to like book 9 or something.
Oh, you know what book I
Yes,
want them to...
only book 9.
It's like 20 fucking books, but it's so good.
God, I've only sunk 40 hours into a series. Oh,
I love it so much. It's like my favorite.
that'd be a
Alright,
great
anyway.
TV show too.
It would be. It would be a great TV show. It would just be really hard to make the ATV look,
No, it wouldn't. They look like the...
Okay, fair enough. You could just do like the
Avatar,
Avatar. Like
yeah.
yeah, it'd be Avatar just black and like panther-like.
Yeah, so just black, and it's people from Avatar.
Cool gold eyes.
They were cat
Yeah.
people too,
They were adorable.
except for like with weird sex tales.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have tails. The ATV wouldn't have tails, but that's okay. And they'd probably be a little less sinewy.
Well, no, I
Anyhow.
think they'd be. I mean, not as like tall, but I think
No,
they'd be as
like-
live.
I'm sorry, Uncle Tate Segi would be like this big, like
Oh yeah,
well-eaten man, like just.
Somebody has to be Rum Tum Tigger or whatever his name is from Cats.
God, what
Or
the
like
hell
Fat
was his name?
Showman who just lives in excess
Rum
because he can.
Tum something and
Isn't it Rum
Rumple.
Tum Tigger?
It's like Rumpled something. I don't know. There's Rum. I don't fucking remember.
All right,
Cats is
we're also
terrible.
going into a bad habit of my topics going long. So
Eh,
sorry, editor, and thanks, Mom.
yeah. All right.
Thanks,
we'll
Mom.
end it here. Thanks, Mom.